Night I'm sleeping in the warm, warm bed beside my husband and baby. Night I'm sleeping on the cocoa ground, sleeping with a blackjack David, sleeping with a blackjack David. It was late last night when her husband came inquiring off his lady. He was told by a pretty fair miss, she's gone with a blackjack David, gone with a blackjack David. Go catch up my Bronco horse, I'll put on my derby. Ride to the east and ride to the west, ride till I find my lady, ride till I find my lady.
The mountains of Appalachia are home to a folk music tradition that traces its roots to England, Scotland, and Ireland. Picking up the African banjo and other influences in its evolution, this tradition gave rise to gospel, bluegrass, and country music. The recipients of the North Carolina Folk Heritage Award, the prestigious Brown-Hudson Folklore Award, and many other honors, the Queen family of Western North Carolina have come to be valued as representatives of Southern Appalachian heritage and a way of life that's passing but not yet gone.
I was 90 at my last birthday. So I'm about 90 and a half now. My birthday was in February. I've lived here about 68 years. That's how long Claude and I would have been married if he'd lived this long. We raised our family here, and we had 8 children, 4 boys and 4 girls. See the mountain range? It comes all the way around till up here at this gap. Then it comes on around, and there's another gap over here. And through that gap was where my mother and dad lived, right through that gap over there. Then it comes on around, and through this comes here where the creek goes through and where the road goes through. It's all surrounded by mountains.
There's a lot of music people around here. You know, a lot of them don't get out and try to do it in any way except for their own enjoyment, which holds true to a lot of old-timey music. Here's another one of those strange tunings. I'm going to play a Willie Moore. It was recorded way back in the early days, and I've heard a lot of people do arrangements of it, but I always love the music to it, and it just makes a wonderful old-timey banjo song, so I just love to pick it. It's called Willie Moore.
I mean, I remember growing up, you didn't have all this entertainment that young people have today. So you made your own entertainment. So, I mean, we always, Mother and Daddy played and we all sung. And so did our grandfather and our uncles and cousins. And I mean, you know, it was just a way of life. And we enjoyed it.
Okay, here's one called the Greenback Dollar, and we'll feature Mary Jane Queen, our mom.
Ready?
Yes,
Go.
Go ahead. Play it. I was born in East Virginia, North Carolina I did roam. There I met a fair young maiden, and her name I did not know.
They said the first queen that came into this territory here came over from Hendersonville came all the way across the mountain, brought his gun and dog, and settled in this area here where we're at now, in the part of Jackson County. Had bought a 200 tract of land, like 200 acres.
That was a long time ago. A lot of music, and all the families pretty much has been here with it. If these walls could talk and sing, they could sure tell a whole bunch of tales, couldn't they, Mother?
Probably my very favorite childhood memory as a little girl was whenever we would all pile in the back of Daddy's old pickup truck, and we would drive across the mountain and go over where my Grandpa Prince and Grandma lived. Before we'd ever get to Grandma and Grandpa's house, we could hear them singing.
Almost like every Saturday night, they'd pick and sing. It'd start about 7 o'clock, quit sometime in the morning, play all night.
I thought I was going to wait on Junior.
I'll just jump in here somewhere. It don't matter where I.
Just jumping over here. We're all
I'm just going to sing.
gathered around you, Mother.
When the family all together there around Grandpa's and Amy's, well, I was picking and singing that old-time mountain way. Well, although Grandpa's gone, his music's deep within me, singing in my memory like only yesterday. He sang the blues of the working man, the ballads of the mountains, songs of religion in the old-time fashioned way. Some of the songs Grandpa sang for pleasure, some of the songs he lived by every day. Yeah, about every time this family got together, all of us, it was music, wasn't it? Your son still is in some form. Yeah, they all had a great love for it.
And watching all my uncles and all them old timers playing, I learned a lot from them, you know, just put it all together.
30-acre farm, way back in the Smoky Mountains, an old Cherokee blood running through him, and his skin was old and brown. With a claw hammer banjo and a sweet mountain fiddle, could make the people happy for miles and miles around.
Well, my brother bought bronco, and Dad and Mother was out there looking at it, and Mary said to him, "Dad, hug Mother up like you loved her." And he did. And so that's when he snapped the picture. My dad lived to be 93. My mother lived to be 90. And my sister, my oldest sister, she lived to be 93. And the first time I ever went to a doctor was when I had the problem with my heart running away. Doc Morgan, he asked me how old my parents were when they passed away, and I told him. He looked at me and kindly smiled. He said, "You will never die." Well, I'm still here. How much longer I'll be here, I don't know, but then, anyway. Yeah, that's it. See, there's the root.
Now that other ones will come back from that leaf
Oh, yeah.
part of it in there.
This is one of the roots of the golden seal, and there's the bud for it to come up next year. This is where it broke off the.
We could actually plant that right back.
Yeah, oh yes, and he'd come back next year. Right there's the bud to come back.
But
there's where you broke the other.
Yeah,
off.
we'll just take that little bunch onto the house.
Oh yes,
This
yes.
winter it'll be hard to find that.
Yeah, you'll not find it this winter.
I'm just thankful that we still have Mother at age 90 and that she still has her health and her memory. Mother taught most of us. Daddy did some and helped some, but he didn't have as much patience as Mother, so she taught us more actually how to play.
Banjo was easier for her to play, but she used to play guitar as well. And she taught me how to play groundhog, and I just, you know, I was like probably about 8 years old.
my grandfather had his banjo laying on the bed, so I went by and picked it up, started strumming on it, and I was just, you know, I was just making a noise, in other words. I was just strumming up and down on the strings. She come by and looked at me. She said, "You've got to learn to pick that thing if you want to." She said, "You've got to pick it." She said, you just don't make a noise with it." She said, "You've got to learn to pick it."
And I'd have a lot of trouble, you know, like when you're growing up a little boy, and I'd fumble with it. And back here on the end of the porch, I know one night I was sitting back there, I mean, I'd beat and pecked on that guitar, and my dad, he come and had to take that out of my hands and make me go to bed. But I learned, you know.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Let's see.
And another thing my father always told me, he said, keep an up-tempo like your music. He said, keep it up-tempo because he liked up-tempo music. In other words, fast. And I taught my son, and a lot of times they're trying to slow Mark down from when he's picking, because we play a lot of fast tunes. And he can move on them.
That's a way to pick on that thing there, Mark. Yeah.
We grew up in a simple life, in a simple way, in a simple culture. We didn't have a lot, but At the time, you didn't know that, and you really didn't think you were poor because everybody else lived the same way you did.
We had one battery for the radio that was humongous. It was, I don't know, looks like a car, like 3 car batteries. And I remember they would let us listen to WSM, click off with the radio because they didn't want to kill all the battery power.
Of a nighttime, I listened to WCKY. They played one bluegrass and one country.
It's not like it is today. You know how kids turn on TVs and just walk away from it. They
Don't
never
watch
watch
it.
There, they sit and watch the radio.
I grew up listening to soap operas instead of watching them, but I could just visualize all those families, all that was going on. And my favorite program used to come on at night, and it was a 30-minute program, and it was Dr. Christian, and his nurse was Judy. I remember it even now.
Dr. Christian's office? Oh, Miss Grannis. Yes? The doctor's right here. It's headache.
Oh, all right. Hello, Miss Grannis. What? Gone? Wait a minute, I'll be right over.
What's happened?
Will, she's just had a wire from Chicago
Yes?
saying that he's gone.
Dead?
No, to Hollywood.
We got a TV. We got the first TV. All Flat and Scruggs came on almost every Saturday night, and Porter Wagner, and then Flat and Scruggs. And I made it efforts to be in the house at that time. I get all my work done. We watch the programs. Of course, we picked up a lot like that.
Okay.
I'm Georgia bound, gotta find my baby, that gal of mine. Left this town, well losing her. Gonna drive me crazy, I'm on my way. I'm Georgia bound.
Delbert and them later on, Junior got all the records of bluegrass and brought in, so Junior brought in a lot of the other music from the outer world to us to learn with. And still has it all, brought hundreds. But Delbert and Albert Moore, when it comes to the country, Buck Owens and Don Rich, we learned a lot of music.
Yeah, them was...
And Merle Haggard, we learned a lot of that music too.
A lot of material from them guys.
I guess when I think of us singing together as a family more, I think about the gospel songs. We grew up learning and singing the gospel songs, and we sang them in church. And I sort of think back about that because my dad taught us to sing the different parts in the songs.
This is a tune of the Inspiration, but we kind of borrowed it from them, called When I Wake Up to Sleep No More.
Just start singing.
What I got thoughts on wonderful morning, just to hear Gabriel's trumpet sound when I wake up.
When I wake up to sleep no more. When I wake up to sleep no more. When I wake up to sleep no more. Happy I'll be in heaven bright shore. Reaching with all the ages, with the Lord and I adore. When I wake up to sleep no more.
My dad, he was a Superman. He is down to earth, he is a hard-working man, and he loved music, and many of the time, we'll be out in the field, like plow the fields down there and come home at dinner. Mother'd fix dinner, and while she was getting dinner, we'd pick 4 or 5 tunes with the banjo and fiddle, and sometimes just 2 guitars, go eat, rest a little bit, maybe pick another and go back to the fields and work.
He was a hard worker, and he enjoyed this kind of life. It was rough. He is a happy man. Of course, most of our people are kind of the happy-go-lucky. I don't know what you'd call us, but anyway, we're Scott-Irish. We enjoy life.
I said to Claude one day, I saw he was getting worse. He didn't talk, he didn't eat, And I said to him, I said, well, what do you want done with this land? He said, well, I want the children to have it. Well, I said, you better get out and start surveying.
Yeah, that's how he got it.
And I said, he said, I'm not able. He said, you'll have to do it. I said, okay, I'm going to go start right now. I came to the top of the hill up there. I could see all of the property. And I said, well, I've got it surveyed out. Now, I said, as they come home, I'll tell them where, pick out which place they want. And so that's what I let them do. And I had no problems with dividing the land with them. And I'm very thankful for that, because a lot of people gets mad. They won't talk to each other, and they will kill over land. It has happened many a time. And I'm very thankful that it didn't happen like that here.
Before my dad died, he contracted a man that he knew to build the porch and enlarge the porch and make it bigger so that all of us could get in here and pick and sing and so on and so forth.
And dance if they wanted to.
And dance if we wanted to, you know. And he had the man to do the sign, and that was the very last thing he did. So that's a real special sign to us.
He drove the nails and hung that sign up. That's the last thing he ever done.
On that resurrection morning, when all dead in Christ shall rise,
I'll have new body.
praise the Lord, I'll have a new life. Graves are bursting, saints are shouting, there'll be lady all around. Praise the Lord, I'll have a new life.
I think it's unusual that families still sing together because people are so scattered today. Like I say, we have one of our sisters lives in the state of Washington and a brother in the state of New York. So even we don't get together as much as we did, but I think it's an important part of the family unit that we still sing, and it's a part of how we visit just with our music.
We play for 3 or 4 hours and just the family. I mean, nobody else around, nobody else, maybe a couple of friends or somebody come by and want to listen to us. But we enjoy doing it.
I like to tell people I was country when country wasn't cool, and I guess I still am, but it was a good life. And people that didn't have this, they just don't know what they missed.
We always played music and sang it just because we enjoyed it. But there's not a lot of it left and not a lot of the culture left, so I think people are trying to preserve it, educational institutions especially today, and families as well, to preserve their own culture and heritage, because you realize as you get older how important it is.
There are other good kinds of music. Don't knock none of the other brands of music. I mean, there are a lot of good music out there in the world, but I think we should keep this going. It's something that should be carried on, as saying, handed down from one generation to the other. Keep it alive.
We left a few of these little sprinklers in the ground, and now new ones will come right from
and
from
this
those.
is the part that makes good tea. See, these little sprinklers make some too, but that is where the medicine part is.
And that's a bitter tea now.
And each one of those is a year?
That each little place you said
is a year. See, that's where the stem fell off one year, and right there it fell off. There another one, there, and over here, and right there. Well, the one that broke off when Henry dug it is right there, and there is 2 tops that would have come on next spring.
Little sprouts that'll make the top again.
Okay, here's one called Will a Circle Be Unbroken?
I was standing by my